Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about Phoenix by Higar and Hanson Chien. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So just under a year ago, in July of 2023, I managed to meet Hanson Chien, who dropped by Singapore for just a couple of days. I actually had a stage show that night, so after my stage show, I rushed down to a nearby cafe where I got to meet Hanson along with a group of magician friends over here in Singapore. And it was at this meeting that he performed Phoenix using our own currency as well. At that point, I was impressed, because I was, sat right in front of him at that point when he was performing it. And I didn't press him for the method. In fact, none of us pressed him for the method because he did mention, that this would be something that he would be releasing in the near future. And that performance for me was quite a rare treat, because when it comes to marketed effects, I think our very first exposure, to the effect is usually on an online trailer. We don't get to see the effect live, and I think that performance, seeing Phoenix, my very first exposure to the effect, to watch it performed by Hanson, I think that was quite a rare treat for me. So what is Phoenix? Well, Phoenix is a bill penetration effect. Okay, so what happens is you take a bill, whatever bill you're using in your own country, and then from here, usually, a pen or a pencil, or a key, a sharp kind of an object is used to puncture a hole, right through the bill. The object is then removed and the bill is then seen to be, unharmed. So as a kid, I remember watching David Copperfield perform Misled, on TV, and that moment for me was a great one because it just seemed so impossible to me. And then I got my hands on the effect, Misled by Timothy Wenk, and I've been performing it for decades, literally decades. It's the version that I've been using the most, I think. I've had a couple of other versions, but it's the one that has really stuck with me. I think it's because of the impression that David Copperfield made upon me at that point in time. I've used it, in my table hopping engagements, smaller platform shows, house parties, and then in the most recent years, in my virtual show as well. So speaking of David Copperfield, ironically, he was also part of the marketing kind of a campaign, for Phoenix, because there is this really impressive clip of Hanson performing the effect for David, and then, he going at the end like, "Are you selling that?" So I think that was like the best kind of testimonial, that any magic product can have, and I'm pretty sure David has seen a lot of magic. So when you purchase Phoenix, it comes to you in this envelope. Okay, that's all. It's just one envelope, and it comes to you in several kinds of currencies. So you do have to select and choose the right currency, for your country, for wherever you're performing in. So inside your envelope, you will receive a total of 32 gaffs, with which to perform Phoenix. Along with the gaffs themselves, you will also be given a link to a tutorial video which runs for about an hour or so. There are actually English subtitles on the project, so that if you don't understand Mandarin, you will be able to follow Hanson along as he teaches you about Phoenix. There is also an English audio file that you can watch as well, and on the video, Hanson will take you through a bit of history about the project. He will tell you exactly how to set up the gaff, how to prepare your bills, how to perform the effect, how to restore the bill as well, and he'll also give you some tips on how to make your bills look as deceptive as possible. So let's talk about the effect. Well, the bill that you use is not gaffed. It's not gimmicked in any way. It is prepared, but it's not gimmicked, if that kind of makes sense, I think. And the object, the implement, whatever sharp thing that you're using to puncture the bill is ungaffed as well. I will, however, recommend that you use a relatively, thin kind of a pen, because I think it's slightly neater, that way. And I found it, at least for myself, that the effect kind of, well, the end result looks better for me. all right? And I don't feel as nervous during the examination phase. So everything is ungaffed, right? The bill, the pen, or the pencil, or the key, if you like, which means, of course, that this isn't an illusion, okay? You are really, puncturing a hole through the bill. And of course, because it is real, the illusion is it's not even an illusion, is it? The hole is real, okay? When you puncture the bill, spectators can see that there is a hole through the bill. They can feel, the tears in the bill as well, and they can see right through the hole. So it's as real gets. So as magicians, I think once we have established that it is a real hole, then the focus, okay, or the emphasis on method then comes to the restoration bit, right? And what happens during the restoration is your magic moment is kind of like just massaging the spot, all right, where the puncture was, and then just a moment later, you can just spread your fingers apart and show that the bill has been restored. Okay, now this is a bill that I have used to perform the effect with. As you can tell, even up close, if I can show this on camera, it really is quite impossible to see anything. All right, it looks as clean as this. I mean, for me, this was this was the latest time I've performed it. Right, I've done it a total of I think four or five times up till this point. But this time it has come up the best. In fact, this one really looks really flawless. Okay, now I say that this has come up the best because, well, in earlier performances of the effect, things didn't quite, well, look as good, I think. And I think it's because I haven't had the knack of it yet, understanding the kind of proper sequence of events to have as clean a restoration as possible. Okay, so I think you will need some practice with this. You will need some experience to know how best to navigate during the effect to ensure that the restoration looks as clean as possible. So once you have restored the bill, obviously then comes, every magician's favorite phase, the examination, right? So I have always been okay to hand the bill out for examination, all right? Because that is part of the plus, all right? The pro, right, of this particular method. And I haven't had anyone, well, comment about any suspicions about method at all. Okay, and I think that's kind of made up of two parts. Okay, now number one, the physical method itself looks pretty convincing. I think there's literally there's nothing to see and there's nothing to feel as well. In fact, when I first learned about the method, I was pretty skeptical. I was pretty skeptical. I was like thinking there's no way that's gonna work, right? And then when I tried it out, especially for this particular one, it really just looks flawless. There's no hint of anything happening at all right, for this particular bill. So each time after performing the effect, I've always handed out the bill for examination, and not once did I have an issue, all right, with someone kind of suspecting anything. Okay, and again, I think it's made up of like two parts to this. Okay, because the first part is the physical aspect of the method. I think it's pretty flawless if you know how to do it properly, and with enough experience performing the effect. The bill itself does look quite flawless. There's nothing to see, and surprisingly, there's nothing to feel as well, all right, on the bill. So the physical method kind of takes care of that part. And the second part of its, well, deceptiveness, all right, is I think the kind of attitude, with which you perform this effect with. And I think it brings me back to my experience performing Misled, for so many years, right? And I believe this will be true as well for most of you out there, right? If you perform any of, these versions, right? Misled, the Cornelius method, ignition, any of these sorts of methods, you will find that people, when you hand them back the bill, all they will do is they will look at the bill like that and give you back the bill, and that's it. They don't really scrutinize the bill to, a microscopic, degree. I've not had that, at least, where someone, really spends a couple of minutes looking for something in the bill. It's always been, once the pencil comes out, you hand them the bill and they just go like that and just hand you back the bill. It really is just that fast. And for Phoenix as well, that was pretty much the same experience I had. I handed them the bill, they just looked at it this way, that way, and they just gave me back the bill, and that's it. And I remember feeling slightly disappointed that they didn't examine the bill more. So this brings to mind like an issue, the effect, right? Because to a spectator, the effect is the same. A pencil or a pen has penetrated the bill. There apparently was a hole and there now isn't. So the effect to the spectators is the same. To us, this is a different thing altogether, because obviously we know that the method is different, right? So I think although we are performing with a different method, the conditions, with which you handle the examination of the bill and, the attitude, right, with which you keep the performance moving shouldn't change, because it really is the same effect. So a couple of pros, with Phoenix, it is what it is, okay? The pencil is real, the pen is real, the bill is real, you puncture the thing, it's real, all right? You're really doing it, and then you restore it, the bill can be examined, all right, casually, okay, by your audience members, and then you end the effect there. So what are some of the negatives with Phoenix, okay, which I think it will be on most people's minds, right? And I think the first thing is, well, it's an expendable effect, okay? Meaning the method is using something that is expendable, right? You do need refills to, continuously perform the effect in the future. And well, I'm not sure if, Hanson Chien will be releasing refills in future, but as of now, you only have like 32 shots, okay? And that's it. All right, well, maybe 30 shots, I think, because you would want to at least use, one or two to kind of practice the effect first, right? So, yeah, you only have about 30 shots before you run out of ammo. So the next point is the bill, obviously, because of the nature of the method, cannot be borrowed. Okay, you have to use your own bill, because you do have to prep your bill, right? And I do think, well, you could have certain ways, certain methods to give the impression of a borrowed bill. And whether you wish to go that extra mile or not, I think it's, entirely up to the performer. As it is, right, it's a prepared bill, so you have to just, use your own bill. And for some of you out there, that might be a big, compromise, right? Because we all compromise, at different points in the routines that we perform, right? For some people, the fact that the bill is borrowed is really important, in which case you cannot use this method. For some people, the visuals are more important, and in that case, you can use this method. So it's really up to you to decide what works for you. Then there is the question of, can the spectators keep the bill? Okay, now, I have not fully understood this issue yet, because when I perform the effect, I am using my own bill, right? I'm taking out the bill from my wallet and I'm performing the effect. I let them have a look at the bill, it's restored, and it's my money, so I keep the the bill back in my wallet, and off I go, right? So I've not had this thought about letting the spectators keep the bill. Well, I do suppose if you do kind of orchestrate a situation where you give the impression that the bill was borrowed, then yes, you have to give it back, right? And in that case, I wouldn't. For me at least, I think, well, I don't think, people are really going to, again, take the bill home and then, keep studying it again and again, right? I mean, if they do that, it is possible. It is possible that they will find something. Okay, I'm not saying that will not happen. The method physically, it's quite, physically perfect, right? The illusion. However, I am not saying that it's impossible that they will find something. There could be a possibility that they will stumble upon what happened. Okay, and because of that little possibility in my head, I don't think I would you know, give the bill and, you know, let them keep the bill. So that's all I have to say about Phoenix, all right, by Higar and Hanson Chien. I want to thank Hanson Chien for really kindly sending me one of these, all right, so that I can learn it and chat about it with you guys on this show. If you want to pick up Phoenix for yourselves, I will leave the link in the description box down below. So before I go, I just wanted to leave you guys with something, okay, because, well, this effect uses something, right, that I'm sure, you know, people out there have been trying to source for themselves, okay? My point is this: have I sourced for things myself? You know, have I tried to make gaffs myself so that I can continue performing the effect without having to purchase refills? Absolutely, I have done that, all right, with, you know, a number of things, right, over the years. What I don't do is advertise or tell people that, you know what, you don't need to buy the refills, you can just make this yourself, and just appear so kind of smug about it. You know, if you have figured out the source for, you know, whatever it is that, you know, Hanson is selling, good for you, all right? Good for you. You know, you've managed to crack the code. Just keep it for yourself. I don't think there is a need to kind of, you know, tell the whole world or show everyone how smart you are, you know, that, you know, now I don't have to buy the refills, you know, and because people will ask you for them, right? They will ask you for the source, and if you really didn't have the intention of sharing the information to begin with, I don't think you would have told people that, you know, you have the source, right? All I'm saying is, we've all done it, you know, but if you have the source for something, I mean, share it privately, all right, not on an open platform. And yeah, I mean, there's really no need to brag about it, I think. But anyway, guys, it's just a bit of ranting. You know, the community will be the community, okay? So I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, you know, and got some information as well about Phoenix to decide if this is something that you'd like to pick up for yourselves or not. On the next episode of Nick Tan Chats, I'll be talking about something from Mine House. Okay, so I'm sure some of you are looking forward to that coming right up. But till then, do stay safe, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I will see you on the next one.